Hi and welcome back everyone. In today's video we're going to have a look at these very cool adapters from Rode, which are the VXLR, the VXLR Plus and the VXLR Pro. These adapters bridge XLR to TRS connections and also can be useful at complementing certain recorders like the Zoom F6's lack of 3.5mm TRS or mini jack input for lavalier microphones, or the wrong placement of the mini jack input on the Zoom H4n Pro. Thanks to these adapters, you can use XLR inputs as TRS with the use of phantom power, which is being converted to plug-in power. So you can use a good range of devices, which wouldn't have otherwise been possible. So in this video, we're going to have a look at the differences between them, what they would be useful for, as well as provide some audio samples coming from each and every one of them. So you can understand better how they differentiate from one another. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So for those of you who are not familiar with these adapters, these are XLR male to TRS female, not to be confused with these adapters, which are XLR female to TRS male. Rode calls these devices VXLR adapters. So the first VXLR adapter, which is also the smallest and the most affordable of the bunch, is the Rode VXLR. A very simple adapter with no logo, no anything written on it. Not inside, where sometimes you can find certain things written. The VXLR comes in a black shiny finish and weighs about 40 grams. The VXLR is also quite basic and it has no internals other than the wires that bridges these two types of connections together, which is like I mentioned earlier, XLR to 3.5mm TRS. It has a rectangular cutout which acts as a locking feature for compatible connections. The VXLR is very useful with mics that either have their own power supply, like battery powered mics, or for line in. Like for example, used with a Rode wireless microphones or any other type of microphone that does not require external power supply. The second one is the VXLR Plus, which is slightly larger and more expensive than the first. It comes in a matte black anodized finish, and this one does have both the Rode logo and the model written on it in a golden color. And it is a little bit heavier, weighs around 60 grams. The VXLR Plus, unlike the VXLR, comes with both a clip and a locking thread for the TRS connection, which in my opinion is useful because it gives an extra level of protection beside the XLR locking capability against accidental disconnections. But at the same time, if you do a strong pull on a lavalier microphone wire, it can result to damages to the wire. Whereas without locking it, it would just disconnect. So internally, the Plus does have some electronics. It does not provide as much of a basic adaptation between the two types of connection as the VXLR provides. So the VXLR Plus's internals will convert 12 to 48 volt phantom power down to 3 to 5 volt plug-in power, allowing Rode on-camera microphones such as the Rode Video Micro or the Video Mic Go, or basically any other kind of microphone that needs 3 to 5 volt power to function. It can also satisfy the functionality of a plain adapter if the connection is set to receive only and plug-in power is not required. Turning off plug-in power only requires switching phantom power off. You won't be able to find information regarding the use of the clip, but the way I see it, is for clipping the adapter to a belt while you use an additional XLR cable to reach a camera, recorder, mixer, or interface. I don't see how you'd otherwise be able to use it while it's connected straight to a camera or recorder. And I suppose it can also be used for storing it away. And the last one is the VXLR Pro, which is even beefier and it's taller than the Plus. And of course, it is the most expensive of the bunch. This one weighs about 80 grams. It's the heaviest as well. It has the same finish just like the VXLR Plus and has both the Rode logo and the model written on it in a silvery color. Now, whenever you hear the word Pro, you expect the best performance from a device. And although this is the best out of the three, there's not a huge difference between the VXLR Plus and this one, the Pro. The only difference the Pro brings to the table is that the Pro's integrated transformer delivers a balanced output signal, and it is less prone to interference. It can be used with all the mentioned types of microphones, just like the VXLR Plus, with the difference being that it should produce a cleaner and therefore better result. So really, these are pretty much all the differences between these three types of adapters and what they can be used for. Now let's have a look at some samples coming from each and every one of these devices. Okay, so the first sample is going to come from the Rode Wireless Go 2, recorded into the Zoom X6 using the VXLR adapter. So this is what it sounds like. I have not applied any EQ, compression, or any processing to the audio. This is the audio coming straight from the recorder, using it with a Rode VXLR adapter. So in a few moments, I'm going to be swapping to the EWG4 body pack transmitter from Sennheiser, which I'm going to be using with a Sanken CS11D microphone. So yeah, let's switch to that. Okay, so now this sample is coming from the EWG4 body pack transmitter from Sennheiser. I'm using it with a Sanken CS11D microphone. Normally I'll be using this adapter, which came with a body pack transmitter. It's the original adapter, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to be using the VXLR adapter. We're using the Rode TRS cable. So this is what it sounds like. Yeah, I'm going to be switching in a few moments to these two. We're going to try and hear if there's a difference between them. I'm going to be using the Sanken CS11D microphone with both of them, and we're going to try and hear, like I said, if there's a difference between them. So yeah, let's go ahead and switch to that. Okay, so this sample is coming from the VXLR Plus using the Sanken CS11D. So this is what it sounds like. And we're going to compare this audio sample to the one coming from the Rode VXLR Plus, and that way we can determine whether there is a difference between them or not. So now I'm going to switch to this one and let's see what it sounds like with a Pro. Okay, so this sample, it's coming from the Pro, again using the same microphone, and I have not applied any EQ or compression or any processing to the audio. This is the audio coming straight from the recorder, using the VXLR Pro, like I said, and the Sanken CS11D. So now we're going to compare this to the one coming from the VXLR Plus and see if there's a difference between them. So yep. So to conclude this comparison video, the VXLR does its job. Basically, all it does, it's bridging XLR to TRS. There's not much to it. It's a very simple adapter, but it's handy when you need it. In terms of the Rode VXLR and the Rode VXLR Pro, I'd say they're very similar. I didn't notice any noise difference between them. If I were to choose, I'd probably say the Pro has a slightly, very slightly, barely noticeable edge in terms of the audio quality. I don't know, but to my ear, it sounded slightly better than the VXLR Plus. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You know, everyone's ears are different. But that's what I thought by listening to both samples. So yeah, like I said, there wasn't any noise difference. I didn't notice any noise difference between them. And there may be a noise difference if you're using an XLR cable with them. I don't know. That's not something I tested. So yeah, that is it. That's pretty much everything about these adapters. So that is it for this video. Hopefully you found it useful. I try putting as much information as possible without making this video too long or adding unnecessary information. So if you did like it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care now.